Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you on behalf of the Decatur Library to bring you something that I hope will help you get around having to watch television all day if that's all you've had, one of the things that you've been doing the most of, because you've got to be tired of it by now. So we were hoping to find a way to help you continue to connect with the library. And so one of the things that I'm going to do is show you some jewelry making, a jewelry making tip. What I get a lot of questions about is, what can I do with all of my broken jewelry or my old-fashioned jewelry that I won't wear, but I don't want to get rid of because it has some sentimental value or some kind of a remembrance. So what I want to show you, now that I know you're doing a lot of spring cleaning and all of those things are coming to light, is how to take those broken pieces and make them into something that you might want to wear later after all of this is blown over. I mean, maybe you can make it into a nice statement piece like this. Just this is a lot of odds and ends and beads and rocks that I put together to show you what you can do with things that have absolutely no relation to themselves if that's what you have. I mean, welcome to my world. I've got so many beads that really don't match, and I wanted to show you what you can do with that. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to make a very simple loop that you can use to attach your beads. Instead of putting everything on the string, I'm going to show you how to do a simple wire loop. I'm also going to show you how to do a nice messy wrapped loop that you can also use like I did on this piece in order to attach your beads in such a way that you can wear them beautifully. So we're going to start with our two main components, which are your beads and some wire. For this particular project, 20 gauge wire, 22 gauge wire, and 24 gauge wire are all perfectly acceptable. My go-to is 20 gauge because it's flexible and malleable enough that I can work with it easily, and it's also strong enough that you can use it to make a clasp if you need one. So we're going to, I'm using 20 gauge today. I've picked up a nice little selection of beads that are all different colors that really don't have any relationship to themselves, so that I can show you what to do with them. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a simple non-wrapped loop, just a simple basic loop. So I'm going to turn the camera down so that you can see my hands. I'm going to grab a bead. What would you choose? I don't know, you can't talk to me. Anyway, so I'm going to take this bead right here. Get my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, it's got a little bit of a design on it, actually. That's interesting. So that's the one I'm going to use. And what my rule of thumb when it comes to unwrapped loops is to just make sure I have a ½ inch of wire on each side of my bead in order to make my loop. So I'll put my bead down by the wire, check off where the ½ inch marks are, and then cut that. And when you're cutting your wire, mine is attached to a spool on one end. On the other end, it's open. Hold on to that so it doesn't go flying. And now I'm going to find my ½ inch mark. I'm going to bend the short tail of wire back so this short end is horizontal and the long end is vertical. Then I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to slide my wire in until it's about a third of the way down the pliers away from the tip. And I'm going to rotate my pliers just enough to give it a little curve. And I'm going to go back in and rotate it some more. And I'm going to keep rotating until I have a nice closed upright loop. Now the reason I bend it back before I start my turn is because if I start with it on the side and start to rotate, my loop ends up on top, which is exactly where I want it to go. So there's my loop, grab my bead, slide it on. I have more than enough that I need over here. So what I'm going to do is cut off the excess after I've bent it back. Yeah. And cut off a little bit, take it down to my 1/2 inch. Now when you're working with a small tail like this that you have to cut, be sure to direct that tail. If you have enough to hold on to it, fine. If not, direct that tail down into some kind of compartment so that when you cut it, it will be captured. There. Otherwise, it could fly off across the room and end up in your carpet or on your floor, or worst case scenario, in somebody's arm, or as your mother would say, it could put their eye out. So we don't want that. So now what we're going to do is what we did on the other side. We're going to grab our end of our wire about 1/3 of the way down the pliers. And before I go any further, I'm going to tell you a secret. How do you know that your loops are going to be the same size? We'll go down to the other loop that you've already made, slide your pliers in, note where the loop ends, slide it until you can't go any further, and that's where you put the pliers on the other side. So it was right about here. Slide that down. There we go. And let's make our loop. A little bit at a time until we have a nice closed upright loop. Okay. Make a little bit of an adjustment. Now, you want your loops to go the same direction. This one's going this way, this one's going the other way. So this, again, is very malleable wire. So what I'm going to do is grip one side of it with my fingers, my thumb and forefinger, the other side of it with my pliers, and I'm going to twist until they're both going the same direction. And there we go. Here we go, 2 nice loops. Put that to the side. Now we're going to move on to a wrapped loop. Just a little more decorative and ornate. Adds a little more space between your beads, and it gives a little bit of a decorative touch. Stand up. Okay, now, different rule of thumb with the wrapped loops, because you need extra wire in order to wrap. What did I do? This goldish one? I'm going to use this one. This guy? Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is give ourselves at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches on either side of our bead. 1.5 inches is plenty. If you're more comfortable with a little bit more, that's fine. If you don't want to be wasteful and cut anything off, then stick with the 1.5 inches, but you're better off having too much than you are if you have too little. So I would err on the side of too much. Okay, I'm going to bend my wire back till I have a nice horizontal short edge. Grab my pliers, slide my pliers in under the short edge, a third of the way down. My lower clamp of my pliers is under the short edge. My top half is clamping down on the top. I'm going to reach around, grab the tip of my short edge of wire and bring it all the way over until it meets the long edge. So now that they're both vertical. Then I'm going to turn my pliers, open them, turn them until they're horizontal on top of the wire. Now both of the wires are vertical and the pliers are horizontal. Then I'm going to continue bringing my short wire around and up until it's directly under the pliers horizontally. Then I'm going to wrap it around the long edge of the wire twice. Once and twice. And if you have a short tail on there, you can use your pliers to wrap it the rest of the way. But I think I have 2 wraps. I don't really need another one. There we go. I can clip that edge off. And again, very short tail. Turn that down into something that'll capture that edge. Clip it off. And now I'm ready to press down that tail. So that it won't snag on your clothes or scratch your skin. Okay, there we go. I always try to check with my finger to see if there's anything sticking up, because sometimes you can't really see it with the naked eye. And you don't want to find out the hard way later on that you didn't get it down there. Okay. Grab my bead, slide it on. Oh no, feels like something's stuck in there. Ooh, something is stuck in there. That's what happens when you have a big box of beads all sizes. There's some little something is stuck in there. Oh, so we'll go on to this bead instead. It's about the same size, so I don't have to worry about measurement. Slide that on. Yay, yes, plenty of space left. Okay, I'm going to bend my wire back till it's horizontal with the bead. Pliers, slide them under the wire, about a third of the way down the pliers away from the tip. Wrap my wire around until it is perpendicular with the bead. Okay, and then back and under the pliers, between the pliers and the bead. So it's under the pliers and over the bead. And there's my loop. Now I just need to wrap it. Around once, around twice, and there we are. I'm going to cut this off, cut off this tail. Again, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a curve to work with. Cut the tail off. Oh, I heard that fly across the room. It bounced right out of my little container. Snag down those ends. Sure nothing's sticking out. A little tweak. And there we have it. Make sure they're both going the same direction. And we have a nice wrapped loop. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Now, your question, I'm sure, is, but if it's wrapped, how do you connect it with something else? Well, I'm going to show you how. So, I'm going to grab this bead this time. Oh, you know, if you were connecting just a simple not wrapped loop, all you'd have to do is open the loop up on its side, like so. Just lift it up, slide on the other one, and close it back down. But because these are wrapped, you can't do that. So I'm going to leave that on, and we're going to find another bead in order to wrap it on the other side. No, I don't think so. Red. What about that guy? No. What about this little one? That's pretty. This is pretty. Let's go with that. Okay. That. Ooh. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to take this bead. Let's make sure it's drilled all the way through. Are you? Oh no, that's the wrong kind. Can't use that one because it is drilled in a way that's not going to work. So I'm going to go with this guy on the other side here. Yeah, that's interesting. That'll be different. So we're going to take the wire. Again, we're going to give ourselves a good 1.5 inches on each side of the bead. Cut it. Horizontal bend. Wire slides down about 1/3 of the way down our pliers. Wrap over the top of the pliers. Rotate until the pliers are flat on top. Continue with my wrap until I have an almost horizontal short edge and stop. Because now I want to attach it to this other wrapped loop. So I'm going to take my bead, I'm going to slide it down. I personally like to go to the short route. I'm going to slide it down the short wire and pop that into the unfinished loop. Take my pliers and grab the loop on the side. Finish making my wire horizontal. Wrap it around the top of the pliers once. Short. I'm going to have to use the pliers to do it. Give it 2 nice wraps around there. Okay. Another little tweak. And press the end down again so it won't scratch anything. And once I've done that, I'm going to take my pliers and squish my little rings together so that they're nice and neat. Take my ends. Okay, put my bead on. I think that could be a little bit closer together, those little rings. And my end. There. Okay, let's put my bead on. Okay. Okay, and bend my wire back. Slide my pliers in, about a third of the way down. Wrap that tail over the top of my pliers. Rotate the pliers until they're flat on top. Bring my wire back and stop. Why? Because I think I'm going to attach something else. So I don't want to keep going. I want to stop here before I wrap and then continue with my attaching. So I'm going to attach this one. I already have this made, so I'm going to just attach it to this guy right here. Slide it down, pull it until it snaps into the unfinished loop. Grab my pliers, grab my loop, and wrap between the pliers and the bead till I have 2 complete wraps. And then I'm ready to cut. Neaten it up. And there you have it. Nice wrapped loops, a nice chain of beads. Looks like a bracelet to me. Yeah, that's awesome. And you can wear that with pretty much anything because it has absolutely no rhyme or reason. It will go with absolutely everything that you have in your closet. Like I said. Nice. Go on vacation, if ever again, and you can have one piece of jewelry and it goes with everything. And it's yours. You made it. Nobody else has it. It's all yours. Congratulations. So this is my one little tutorial that I've given. I'm hoping to do more for you. I hope to see you all in classes in person again soon. But until then, enjoy and let us know how you liked it, or if you liked it, and comments, because I've not done this before, so this is not my usual way to teach. And if there are any suggestions, I'm sure that it's not all on camera as well as it could be, but if you have any suggestions, constructive criticism, I would appreciate it. Okay, thanks a lot, and see you next time.